evening and welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner, and I'm your host, Dorothy Odell, for this evening. I have the distinct pleasure of bringing Jen Fredricks to the show. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you, Dorothy.
You're absolutely welcome, and we're so glad you're here. Jen has an amazing overcoming story to get her to her business, so I can't wait for you to hear it. So, Jen, tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your story.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so funny to hear people say it's such an incredible story, because to me it's normal because I've been living it for so long. But way back in the day, when I was a teenager, I had chronic kidney disease, which ended up with me needing a kidney transplant at 15 years old. And so my journey started then.
Resilient from 15.
Well, no, I think I just thought I was immortal at 15. It's like, yeah, you guys know how to fix this? Okay, take care of it. Let's get on with this show. Like, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, people would always refer to me as resilient. And then as I had that kidney for 18 years and I got to experience all of those milestones that come with young adulthood, graduating high school and college and meeting my husband, buying a house. We adopted a beautiful baby girl. And then my kidney petered out. So it served me so well. And in 2012, it was like, see ya, I'm done.
Wow. And so did you have another kidney transplant at that time?
I sure did. So my first transplant was so graciously donated to me by my dad. And my second transplant was donated to me by my brother's fraternal twin brother. Sorry, my husband's fraternal twin brother. Let's go with that. That's the right answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
something.
I really lucked out on that one. I picked the right husband who then had the right brother with the right blood type. So it's been 11 years since that transplant, and things are going really, really well. And continued, I guess, building my resilience during that time, but didn't know that's what I was doing. I just thought I, didn't have a choice. And I had a 4-year-old daughter and a husband and a job I loved in marketing and all of that. And so that brings me to my daughter then being diagnosed in 2015 with a chronic life-threatening illness. And at the same time, about a year later, I was still reeling from that. And I get the layoff notice from my marketing job. So I flippantly said to someone, I think it was my mom, well, maybe if I really do get laid off, I'll try out this life coaching thing. Had I ever been to a life coach at that time? Not really. But someone once told me in high school I'd be a good life coach. So I did some digging and really started looking at certification, and I was laid off and I started certification and I thought I was doing it for my career. It turns out I was doing it for me. And then my career.
That's usually how it goes. We usually find things when we need it for ourselves, and then we go through these things so that we can help other people. That's been my experience. I don't know about you.
I completely agree. And I have been coaching, general, personal, and professional development for the last 7 years. And now I'm really honing in on my purpose and passion of sharing the message of resilience, and even more so prosilience or proactive resilience, so that we can face life's challenges. We can prepare for that before we're even meeting the challenge. So I'm Jen Fredricks, Prosilience coach.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And how's your daughter doing now?
She's doing well. We're still managing her illness. She actually was diagnosed with a low-grade brain tumor. So it's one that, this sounds really weird. We were grateful for that diagnosis because it's one that we can manage with different treatments, and it's not one that would take her from us right away, like a lot of people experience with childhood brain tumors. So we're grateful for that. And, we follow the protocols. and we work on living day to day and enjoying the things that we want to enjoy day to day, which is one thing that I learned about when I was becoming certified as a life coach. And one thing I really, really honed in on is that, why am I working so hard to heal myself or support her in healing if I'm not going to enjoy life, if we're not going to enjoy life? And so it reminds me of a quote, and I was going to look this up. I forget who said it, but Harukmi, I think. We can put it down somewhere later if someone's interested. But the idea that pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
Mm-hmm.
And I choose not to suffer.
I absolutely love that. And so would you say, like, your life experiences then have helped you within your coaching and helping other people, be Prosilience, and helping you fine tune your craft to the coach that you are today?
Definitely. I definitely think so. I've coached a lot of different situations and people, and I have, coached those who are dealing with a difficult diagnosis or were in the throes of treatment for a difficult diagnosis. And I coach myself daily, and I coach my daughter daily. And I think one of the biggest aspects that I've learned about being a coach is the importance of mindfulness, or being where our feet are,
Mm-hmm.
and not looking too far ahead, so that you don't get into the worry spirals and the anxiety and the chaos and the churning. And thankfully, keeping my priority and focus on that also translates into business. And then when I'm able to coach, I hear a lot that I am the calm. So people enjoy coming to sessions or workshops or whatever, because there's just a sense of calm and welcoming and understanding and acceptance for whatever they're going through and whatever they're feeling.
Right. Wow. What an incredible story. And so I know you shared a lot there within your personal life, but
Yeah.
what 3 things would you say that you've had to overcome in business?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Even going back into my marketing days, imposter syndrome. We hear a lot about that. And I'm serious. I worked in one company for 7 years, and the next one for 7 years before I became a coach. But if I was going around to different offices, and this was like 5 years into my tenure there, I was going around to offices to collect something, have a signature, whatever, I would knock on the door and always introduce myself again. And they'd be like, yeah, I know who you are. But it was almost like I was waiting for someone to find me out, that I didn't know what I was doing, that I wasn't as good as at my job as I thought I was, which, I mean, I'm not bragging, but like, I won awards for the job that I did. Yet I wasn't able to internalize that.
Wow.
And so working on myself through coaching certification first, but even a couple years after being certified, I'm still like, oh my gosh, are people going to find out that maybe I'm not a good coach, or maybe I just pretend to hold space, or that I care about them? Deep down, I know that's not true, because I hold space and I feel for the person that I'm sharing the session with so deeply. Yet stay in my chair so that they can come to their journey, and not one that I prescribe for them. But I would have to say, yeah, imposter syndrome was a big thing. Learning to trust my intuition, huge. I'd get like intuitive hits all of the time and not follow them in my professional life as easily as I did in my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you asked for 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that seed that many of us have, that we aren't enough. So trying to prove myself by working and working and working, and defining myself by other people's standards of success. And that one I'm now really revising and thinking about, and understanding that like a lot of coaches say, oh, I'm a 6 or 7 figure coach. That's great. That's not what I want. So then I need to define my own metrics of success in my business. And for me, that would be impact. And for me, that would be bringing calm and helping people find their confidence and enjoying life. So if my clients do that, then I'm off the success meter. Like it's sky high.
I absolutely love that. And so Prosilience coach, tell us a little bit about that. Like, what exactly does that mean?
Great. Yes. So Prosilience stands for proactive plus resilience. And I've worked to adapt to the work of Linda Hoops, who's an organizational psychologist and who wrote the book Prosilience, to focus really on my passion, which is guiding patients and caregivers through their marathon or journey. And what Prosilience is based on is the idea that we all were born resilient, and there are ways that we can enhance and build that to truly, truly support us in life when micro challenges come up, because those are a great practice field, like you're in the gym for resilience day to day, but then also for those larger life disruptions or changes or challenges. And there are 4 different building blocks that help you recognize and practice your resilience and building your proactive resilience.
Cool. And what are those 4 building blocks?
So I'm glad you asked. The first one, which I'm going to preface this by saying, even before that, having some self-awareness is great to understand sort of how you show up in the world and how you're feeling and whatnot. The first building block is calming yourself. And I'm not talking about relaxation, I'm talking more about regulating and being able to calm yourself so that you activate your thinking brain, where you can think clearly and open yourself up to more possibilities when facing a challenge. Now, I also want to say challenges can be neutral, right? They can be good or bad, but you can need resilience when you're looking for something positive, like that next promotion. Or some of the things that I've faced with illness, where you've needed resilience or prosilience. So calming yourself, regulation. Second building block is to choose the strategy with which you want to face that challenge. So do you want to reframe it, take something that looks and feels like danger and find a way to look at it that gives it a more positive meaning that allows you to move forward? Do you want to change it or intervene, doing something to make it something you'd like it to be more? Or this is what I kind of do a lot, is accept and adjust and adapt. Accept what is, realize realistically, this is what's happening. And now I'm going to choose how to move forward. And what I choose is the third building block, which is my resilience muscles. So we have 7 of them, and you get to choose which ones you want to use to face a challenge. And lastly, and I think almost most importantly, because I love energy, I love helping people manage their energy. The 4th building block is managing your energy, your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual energy. Because energy fuels resilience.
Ooh, I like that. Energy fuels resilience. I love that. It's funny because I really wasn't one to even realize anything about energy and, what that meant other than like the hydro bill.
Right.
The hydro, right?
Yeah.
And I just came across this within the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years. And so it's something that I'm still learning about and something that is, I hear more and more about. There's a lot of different business owners that we've had on the show that talk about energy and, preserving your energy and just how much energy it takes to get through a day or a situation. And I never really, I thought of that because, like you said, I think it was in our pre-interview, you talked and you said, you just kept going. That was the only way. You said, you don't think of yourself as being resilient because that was just the way life was. And I totally can resonate with that. Living in a very chaotic home where lots of love, but it was like, chronic illnesses and things like that, and the chaos of that, and just really, that was like what life was, and I didn't know anything different, right?
Right.
And so, and it takes a lot of energy to be in that situation, right? And I didn't
Right.
even realize it. I mean, I'm sure you could tell the bags under my eyes from the years of being in those situations, and taking that back and taking a step back and saying, okay, wait a minute, time to take care of me, time to take care of the vessel, and have that downtime, and things like that. So what would you say to that person that comes to you and they're just so tired, and life has worn them down, and um, they don't know where to turn? What would you say to that person?
Well, I think first I would work with them on self-awareness and identifying some of the challenges that might be draining them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would work on some calming techniques with them so that they can regulate their central nervous system more, because that allows us to be open to new ideas and trying new things to move forward, more so than if we're in our fight or flight reflex.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest piece there would be looking at how can you manage your energy. Let's take a look and see where you're having the most energy leaks, and then let's step by step plug them. Is it physical energy? Something where you need to use your body to get things done and your physical energy is just gone. Okay, what are the habits that you can do differently or add that can help plug that physical energy leak? Mm-hmm. With mental, like if it's that thinking clearly and quickly, it's just not happening for you, there's a lot of fog, I would ask them to go back and do some more calming techniques to help them ground and center and really get focused. Emotional, being comfortable working with the difficult feelings, even the one of I am exhausted and I don't know where to turn. Let's look at some of those feelings and not push them down and not bypass them, but really look at them and see how that is draining your energy and what can we do to plug it, that leak. And then last would be, is there some spiritual energy management that could happen? And that means, how do you connect with a sense of meaning and purpose for yourself and life that can maybe even give you a little bit of spark so that you don't feel so exhausted and tired?
Right. Who would you say is the number one client that you seek that comes to you?
Me?
Yes. You?
No, no. Honestly, it's those who just know that something, they just don't like the way life is going or feeling. A lot of times when that happens, we turn and look at external things that are making that happen. And it's very possible that that's what's happening. And the first thing I do is I invite them to remember that the only thing you can control is yourself and your response to life. And I think change in perspective has helped professionals that I've worked with, has helped business owners that I've worked with, chronic illness patients, young adults who are neurodivergent. And I've even worked with some kiddos to realize that they have more control over themselves than they might think.
Love that. I love that you said the only one you can control is yourself. I think that has been the number one lesson over the last 10 years. We always think that it's somebody else's problem that triggers us, which very well could be. However, we can't control them. We can only control ourselves. How we act, how we think, how we feel. We can't control how they act, think, or feel. So
even as parents, like I really wish I could, but I cannot. I can shepherd, but I can't control.
That is okay. So that's hilarious. And I won't name names, but I have a friend that has several male children, and she is very very much, well, she's a doctor, so she's very much in the health food space.
Yeah.
And her children decided to walk to the dollar store with her permission,
Uh-huh.
and they come back with 4 boxes of cookies.
Oh
She
my
doesn't
gosh.
allow them to have sugar at home. They come back with hot chocolate and 4 boxes of cookies. By the time she got back from the grocery store, they had eaten already 2 boxes of cookies. To say that they were flying high on
Oh my
sugar
gosh.
is an understatement, because they're not, that's
Yeah,
not
they're
what
not
they're
used to it.
to it. Um, she was so upset because, she's been training them that, sugar is like highly addictive, and
Yeah.
and she said to me, and it made so much sense, and I never even thought about it this way. She goes, if somebody was to say, okay, the kids had 4 boxes of heroin, then everybody would be okay and saying, yeah, you have every right to be upset with the children. But
Right.
because it's sugar, which acts like heroin in the body, but no one puts the 2 and 2 together
Right.
with that, everybody's, just calm down. And, she really had to center herself and really think, okay, yes, number one, it's their choice, even though they are her children.
Mm-hmm.
They're still at an impressionable age. So it's not like she doesn't have control over her children. But she also very much wants them to make healthy choices for themselves, right? And to just guide, like you said, right? Parents are to guide and to help. And so it's funny that you said that, because it brought me to that story. And I was just like, the way she said it, like I never even thought about that, because in our house we grew up with sugar.
I mean, I love Coca-Cola, like, not to drop brand names, but I just did.
Right.
Like, I grew up with that, and now even trying to keep that back and not as prevalent in my own house, especially with our chronic illnesses, it's hard.
I get you. I'm a Pepsi girl. I used to work for PepsiCo back in the day when I worked for Pizza Hut.
We have to end this right now.
That is so funny. Yes. Shout out to good old PepsiCo. And so I get you, but then I've even limited that. Like, if I bet you, and I don't drink the sugar, I drink the diet. So I still, though, the aspartame isn't good for you.
Right.
So if maybe one every couple weeks, so it's not like I have a whole lot, but sometimes, like when I want it, like I want it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I get you.
So no, I get you. Now the next addictive thing is bubbly. So Pepsi, which is by PepsiCo as well. So bubbly, if you're listening to this, we would like you to be the proud sponsor of the show.
Bubbly?
Right into Bubbly. Everybody that's watching, right into Bubbly and tell them that they need to be the sponsor of this show. That would be amazing.
They will fuel the offices of the world versus Pepsi for breakfast. It'll be bubbly.
Well, Pepsi or Coke for breakfast is just like having coffee.
Right? Just a little extra sugar, but I drink my coffee with a lot of sugar.
I'm a creamer girl. Okay. It's all about the cream.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying I don't have cream too. I have creamer with a lot of sugar. Well, we digress.
Oh wow, we it's all in what we like, right? And so I love that. I love everything that you're doing, Jen. Absolutely love it. And I just want to put this up here. Is the best way to get a hold of you at your website there?
Yeah, my website is great. I'm also on social media, Instagram at jfredwi, or Facebook at Jen Fredricks Prosilience Coach. And if it's okay, I'd like to invite the listeners that, if you're listening and you're resonating and you're facing a challenge where you feel swirly and churned up and it's difficult to function or focus or think clearly, if you're tired of feeling jumpy, tense, clenched, chaotic, or you're not even sure how you're going to make it through, just DM me. DM me on Instagram or Facebook, the word calm. And I'll share a surefire way to lessen that chaotic feeling and those spiral thoughts and level out the swirl when you're in or facing or getting ready to face a challenge, because we could all use those little reminders.
Right. I love that. Thank you so much for doing that for our guests. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You know, especially in a chaotic world, we really have to stick together, and we really have to, you know, do things for, help out the world, right? And so I appreciate that. Is there any last tips that you have for our guests, Jen?
You know what? I just believe that you don't have to wait until things are better to live better. And I say that, and I always want to recognize, you know, even with my challenges, I want to recognize my privilege that, you know, I had a non-chaotic household. You know, I have a household. I have a roof over my head. So I'm saying that you don't have to wait until things are better to live better, knowing that there are those of us who have sort of the survival things taken care of, and now we're looking to experience life in a different, a better way, and it's possible.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jen, for being on the show, and thank you to our listeners for today. I just want to share today's sponsor of the show, so just one moment, please. Dorothy Odell here, founder of Unstoppable Overcomers Productions, where we have a whole host of media solutions for you, the small business owner. If you're tired of doing your own video and social media, we have the solutions for you. If you are somebody who would love your own podcast or your own Roku channel, we can help. We have 3 shows that we host and produce ourselves: Unstoppable Overcomers on Monday nights, the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner on Wednesday nights, and Mayday Moments for all our heroes, badgers, and warriors on Thursday nights. So we can definitely help you with all your media needs. And don't forget, guys, be unstoppable in all that you do, and check us out at www.unstoppableovercomers.com, or go to our YouTube channel, Unstoppable Overcomers, and our Roku channel, Unstoppable Overcomers. We look forward to serving you. There we go. So yes, it's hop on over to our Roku channel or our YouTube channel, subscribe, share with your people. The world needs hope, and that's what we bring: hope and impact, and helping our community, serving our community one person at a time. And don't forget, go check out Jen's website, prosilientcoach.com. And, you know, when you're in that chaotic state, definitely send a message to Jen with the word calm on her social media sites, and she will send you some tips to bring the calm in. Jen, thanks again so much for being here and for sharing with us your business and your overcoming story. And can't wait to hear more about what happens within your business and your community in the next year or so.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. All right, guys, don't forget, be unstoppable in all that you do, and see you same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.